Welcome to the Guided Podcast, where we support you to find the courage to listen and act. I'm Amanda Goolsby, and with me is
Allie Katz.
Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today's episode is about the killer of dreams and also what you can do to hold on to your dreams, even when this killer comes in. So welcome back. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, welcome back.
So we were talking this morning about the killer of dreams, and that came up because I can feel all of my dreams coming true. And at the same time as my dreams are coming true, I can feel this killer want to step in and temper my excitement. And for me, this killer is the fear of disappointment. You addressed it as, when I brought it up, you said, like doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doubt being the killer of dreams. And there's many killers of dreams, but that is a big one that gets in the way of the process of even allowing ourselves to dream in the first place.
Right. So, because when I allow myself to dream my biggest dream, the thing that I want more than anything else, immediately this protector part comes in and says, maybe that's not a good idea to dream that big because you could get disappointed. And this part is sure that it's really protecting me, because if I get disappointed, then I will die. That's what I think that's really what it's saying. If I dream that big, I'm going to die. I'm going to sink into a despair that is so unable to, that I am so unable to be with, that it will be the same as death.
But the truth of the reality that we live in is, if we don't allow ourselves to cast a vision for the future and live into the process of knowing what it is that we want, like what is it that we actually want? What is it that our greatest version of us living our most expanded version of life wants, and what does that look like? And why do we want it? What do we want and why do we want it? What do we want and why do we want it? If that's not there, we get what life brings. We get what we come across. It's like the old adage of if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there.
Right. And the way that I have taught this in my programs is that one of the greatest tools we have is to get to the clarity of what we really, 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 really want. And it's funny, I say it as 4 reallys.
I think you said that in one of our previous episodes.
Yeah, because it's the 4th really that shows you what is behind all of the other, I'll call them in some ways like compromised desires. They're like the things that, yeah, I want that and I think I can have it. And so I'll let myself want that. Or I will want something and then push it far away through either judgment or jealousy, or this just being like, oh, I'm not going to be able to have that. And so I'm just going to say, oh, I don't actually really want it.
Or not even speaking it or writing it into existence, right? Because you've shared stories with me, and I'm sure that there's been parts for sure in my journey where this has arisen too, of having a dream in your heart and feeling something that feels really true. Maybe you can share about that. Like 20 years ago, you having this dream, but it really only being like you having this vision for the future reality that exists, that you're creating in the world and in your company and in your dharma and in the impact you're having on the planet. But 20 years ago, you wouldn't even speak it or write it down, even though it was inside of you. And I'm curious how you feel that may have affected the last 20 years in any direction.
I did write it down. So 20 years ago, I wrote as much of the vision as I could possibly know at that time. There's so many details that I didn't know. I wrote it down, but I was not able or willing to speak it into reality until just recently. And part of that was because when I would speak it into reality, the people that were around me weren't people that could actually receive it. And so I began to compromise it, or I couldn't stand in it, or I began to fractionalize it, like compartmentalize it into different parts and pieces, because I never had a space that I could speak it into where the people I was speaking it to could actually receive it and hold it with me with such a fierce belief in me, in the possibility, and also in the understanding of the vision, because it's my vision is complex. And I always had people in my life where it was like too complex for them. They couldn't hold it with me.
Right.
And so I didn't speak it, or I only spoke it in parts and pieces because they couldn't hold it.
And this goes back to something that I think that we spoke about in our last episode, where we discussed the importance of not going at it alone, not doing it alone, right, and recognizing that there is a significant cost to us not being in relationship with people who ultimately can dream with us and allow us and allow us to feel like, wow, they're also dreaming. You know, I think having the network and community and friends around us, whether that's something that you're able to source, or like we talked about, investing and paying to be in rooms with people who are thinking bigger.
I often say teamwork makes the dream work, but dream work makes the teamwork. And it really wasn't until I had that 3-day immersion with Molly and Yana that I was finally able to speak the full vision into reality, because they could meet me in it and hold it because of who they are. They are powerful businesswomen. They built Simon Sinek's business with him. They are also, in many respects, medicine women, in that they are multidimensional. And so they can meet me on all of the levels that I needed to be met in order to be able to fully allow the vision to come alive. And they could hold it, not just ideas we're talking about, but actually whiteboard it out, actually create the 3D structures with me that are necessary to pull a vision down from the ethers and into reality. And I'd never had that before. And then doing that with them helped me to see all of the places that I had people and circumstances in my life that actually could not walk into that reality with me. And then all of that had to get cleared out for me to be able to be here where I am right now, where, oh my God, like it's all happening, which for those of you that don't know, I named my company that in 2011 because I needed the reminder to keep going, because there were so many times in 2011 where I was in real fear that I had just totally fucked up my life, and that the decisions I had made at that point were going to keep this vision from ever being able to manifest. And I just kept hearing this voice in the back of my head that I associate with my higher self saying, Alexis or Allie, whatever was the name that I most resonated with at that point, saying, remember, just keep remembering, just keep remembering. I'm like, what am I remembering? What am I remembering? Oh, right. It's all happening. It's all happening. I can actually trust the timeline. And that was something that we talked about this morning as well, that you said to me, is that once we have the vision, that the next piece to get really clear about is who you're doing the vision with. This goes with the don't go it alone, right? Who are you going to do this vision with? That requires a lot of clarity. So now I have the vision. I can feel this vision is here. Who can I be in relationship with that can receive and hold this vision with me and understand my protectors, like the disappointment, fear of being disappointed, or self-doubt are going to arise, but they don't buy into it.
Yeah.
But they hold space for it, but they don't buy into it. So those parts need to be met and can be met. And then the next two parts are the how and the when. How is it going to happen and when is it going to happen? That's where we can actually surrender
to life. Trust life and trust that life knows the divine timing of how the vision is going to unfold. And it doesn't mean to sit in a cave and meditate all day and not take any action towards the vision.
Right.
But I do believe that life can surprise us and bring a lot more than what we could have ever imagined in a more rapid time frame. Like the process of creating or manifesting a vision, our human brain and potential does not fully understand the nonlinear way in which magic can occur.
Right.
And when we try to time bound things like, I'm going to make this much money and it's going to happen by this date, like it's going to happen in this timeline. Well, what if life has a different idea in one direction or the other? And what's most important is that we get really clear on the vision of what it is that we want and why it is that we want it, and keep that as the focus in our process of manifestation, of creating, of actually moving forward towards something that matters towards us in our life, in any area of our life, in all areas of our life.
And then who do we want to do that vision with? Who do we want to create that vision with? Who do we want to live that life with? And then who do I need to become in order to do that? You know, there's a reality where with Molly and Yana, I had known them for quite some time before I chose to work with them. And every time I was around them, felt so insecure that I couldn't actually be a yes to going into a container with them to hold my vision with me, because I was really, every time I was near them, it would bring up this insecurity of like, oh, wow, I really want them to like me. I don't think they like me. What is that all about? And I recognized that who I needed to become internally to be able to feel confident enough, really, in my own vision, that my vision was worthy of them, is a big part of the work that I needed to do. A big part of the work that I needed to do. And a big part of that as well was continuing to call in that vision, even though it was really scary to do it because of this protector part that kept coming up around, oh, you're just going to be disappointed. Oh, you're in it, right? All that self-doubt. And so I needed, first of all, to become the person that I felt was worthy to carry this vision, truly worthy to carry this vision. Who do I need to be in relationship with people that are smart enough and multidimensional enough and experienced enough and wise enough to be able to actually hold this vision with me? And then I needed to claim it. And then I was able to say yes to moving closer to them, where I could actually let them see all the parts of me, including, by the way, the insecure parts, which were still there. But I could let them see those parts, because that's necessary if we're going to be in an intimate relationship, building these visions and dreams together. We have to let the insecure parts be seen.
Gotta create the intimacy to share what's really happening in the inner world.
And so I think that what I would love to do is complete this episode by sharing my greatest visions. And if you want to do the same, you can. If not, we can hold yours for another time. But I would like to share mine as a point of really claiming and anchoring. And I think that I'm at a place in my reality where I can share it publicly here and trust that I have the right boundary structures around me and the right relationships in my inner circle and in my outer circles, that the vision is safe enough to be shared widely. And my membranes are solid enough to only allow in those who are fully in alignment with what I'm creating. And so there's two aspects of it. One aspect is the business aspect. And the vision that I have is to transform the financial services industry by providing a new model for our legal, insurance, financial, and tax professionals, for our what I call lifted advisors, to be able to serve their clients in a truly meaningful and impactful way that helps their clients to make right-aligned decisions around the use of their resources, not just their money, but their time, energy, attention, and money, their team resources, in service to seeing and healing money dysmorphia, really understanding the true nature of inheritance and healing our ancestral wounds, charting an eyes wide open course so that humanity, the people that are served by these advisors, actually get to be their own best advisors and also then hire the support that they need. And we get to see change in the way that we collectively use our resources. And the reality is that if I live long enough to see this dream realized, it is a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. And it's not that my goal is to build a billion-dollar business or to have a unicorn. The goal is to transform the legal and financial services industries and to become who I need to be to attract the people in to be a full yes to that, because obviously that's way too big to do alone. It requires a tremendous amount of support and requires me to be somebody that can hold that and call those people in. And then the second part of the vision is it's more tender in many respects. It's to live on land with people I love in community and to raise children, to grow food, and to live out the rest of my days in a new paradigm of relating that is multi-generational, that is really holds new relational paradigms, and to be able to be the woman that I need to be so that everybody that I am doing that with feels safe and held and loved, and that they're living their best lives, and that they're contributing to a common purpose and vision, and that we're really truly doing it together. And that's happening both here in Colorado, most likely, and somewhere here in North America. I think it's Colorado, but I must surrender to where it is. And then also be doing that in Costa Rica and split my time between two communities that are actually doing that, where we're doing it. We're really living on land, close to nature, raising children, growing food. And as my dear brother, Stephen Brooks says, being the nicest we've ever been. Those are my dreams.
Thanks for sharing your vision. And it's a really beautiful, clear picture of both the life that you want to live and also the impact and just the forward moving progress in the world that you desire to make. And thanks for being willing to share it with me and with our audience, with the listeners and those that are tuning into the podcast. And I'll share more about mine in a future episode, more of what is real for me. And, I think that to wrap this up today, the opportunity that exists for you right now that I am seeing in this conversation is to keep the vision, keep holding the vision, and continue to share it with those and become more and more connected intimately to exactly what it feels like when that's already done. And spending time every day in that, I think it's a big part of the creation process is, can we become so connected intimately to the feeling of what it feels like when it's already done? And have that become so embedded in the beingness of how we're operating in the world. And that gets to slowly turn down the volume of the doubt. Because the doubtful thoughts of this is not possible, this can't happen, I don't have what it takes, whatever that doubt.
Don't dream that big. Don't dream that big.
It's like, that is not supportive for it becoming reality.
Yes. And continuing to trust that as I hold that vision and keep sharing it, that the right people will come in, which has been continuing to happen. And I think the most tender and intimate part is that I do want a relational partner in that vision with me, a romantic partner in that vision with me. And as I've said before, I want lots of partners, but I also do want there to be a romantic context in that. And that's the place where I think I get the most, like I finally feel clear, like, okay, I can do the business part for sure. I got that. And not for sure, but like, I can do that. And then the relational romantic part, like I can do the community relational part. Like I've got that. I love now holding community and being with community.
Now, what if you actually just believed that you could do the relational part too, and that it was available for you, and that it is happening and it is right now? But notice that where I was tracking you about to go is, I know I can do the business. I got this. My belief in the business is there. My belief in the community.
Yeah.
But then what was going to come next?
Well, what was going to come next is that this is me claiming as well that I do want the romantic part.
And do you believe that you can do it? And then do you believe that you can have it?
Yes, I do. I believe that I can have it. I believe that I can have it. And that one has the loudest voice of the disappointment, doubt, insecurity, all of that, that somehow I won't be able to be met in it, but I don't think it's true. Like, I'm seeing signs, I'm seeing evidence that I'm not the only one that wants this, and I'm not the only one that wants it the way that I want it, which is actually quite unique. And it's funny, I made a collage in Croatia with that woman. Do you remember? I have to show it to you.
With Sue.
Sue, okay.
Yeah. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue. Thank you. And the collage.
It was a vision collaging session. So it's basically taking your soul and putting your soul onto a collage of what your greatest dreams, desires, kind of like a vision board, but with some additional.
And so in the picture, there's a man and a woman, and they're sitting looking over a lake, and there's some animals and such too. But in this, the thing right next to them is this chain that's breaking and turning into birds flying off. Mm. And it's really representative of the relational paradigm that I want, which is I want devotion and love and freedom, like both. And I really desire to create this in a way that it's so clearly, the devotion and the freedom are so clearly held side by side. And there's really only one or two couples that I see, 3, maybe 5. Maybe there's 5 couples that I see that are doing it. And I think we'll have to interview some of them because seeing them do it has given me the possibility of knowing that it can be true. And they're not doing it in community the way that I would like to. So that's the next level, right? The next level is doing it in community, but they're doing it in their own relational paradigm. And so many of these couples have actually helped me quite a lot over the past 20 years to clarify and to understand my vision, and it's part of the don't go it alone. They've been coaches to me. They've been mentors. And so we'll bring them to you here on the show.
Well, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Guided Podcast, where we encourage you to dream, to allow yourself to dream, to write it down, to get clear on what it is that you want, and not just one time, but continue to do that, because as we change, so does some shifts in what it is that we really want. And as we see more and as we expand into the world, more of what we want can change. So continuing to clarify is an important part of the process.
And speak it to those that can hold it with you, and really protect it from those that can't. Honestly, don't speak it to those that can't hold it with you, because then it will just get compromised within your own system, because they'll reflect back to you all your own greatest fears, and then you'll take them on and make them your own. And you really want to speak them to people that can hold the expansion with you. And if you are at a place with your vision where you are ready to be held by super ninja business women and speak your vision being held by us, then I want you to send an email. I think that's probably the best thing. Send an email to support@eyeswideopenlife.com and let me know that you are there and you are ready, because I've created something this year and it's starting soon, and it's just for 8 women. And so if you're one of those 8 women that is ready, you're ready to speak your vision into a container that can not only hold it with you, but actually help you to document it and map it and plan it and see it come to life, and then get everything out of the way that is not in alignment with that vision, so that there's a clear path ahead. Just go ahead and email me, support@eyeswideopenlife.com, and let me know. And I'll look forward to meeting you and hearing about that vision of yours. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to being with you next time. Bye-bye for now.
If you enjoy the Guided Podcast, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and be sure to come back next week. Until then, this is Allie Katz and
Amanda Goolsby.
remember, life knows.